Hey, welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery, Don here. I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of what's worked and some ideas, what didn't work, and kind of what's exciting. We're going to go over a review link for Healthgrade. So if you do anything trying to get reviews, most of mine come from Google, but there's this new thing you can use for Healthgrades. I did an interview with Jason Kraus talking about Orthotica, the orthotic company that'll be coming out soon. I want to talk about some highlights there. Some of my Scribe improvements. I'm starting work 3 on dealing with my new virtual Scribe in the office. Basically, I have this phone that's plugged in that sits in my pocket, and the Scribe listens to my conversations, and then I help them with the documentation. I thought it'd be fun. Maybe you guys want to know kind of what books I'm reading. I'd like to know what books you guys are reading. But I'm going to talk about a couple of books I'm reading right now. What makes persuasive copy persuasive, and then what videos I'm listening to, and then an audiobook that I'm listening to, and then kind of what didn't work lately, and then kind of what's exciting. I'm going to start out with this masterclass that I'm going to be doing here. This is going to come up in the beginning of January. And so since these videos are kind of evergreen, so if you're listening to this after January, there'll be a link underneath this audio and underneath this video that you can get kind of the replay for this masterclass. It'll all be part of the Podiatry Practice Mastery Academy. So in there are all my master classes, so you can get access there just by doing the Academy. But right now, the live one, it'll be up coming up soon. I wanted to let you know what I'm going to go over in that. I'm going to talk about kind of indications for biopsy, common pathology, my private practice numbers in terms of pathology, things that I'm seeing, specifically cancer, skin cancers. Going to go over the types of biopsies, so punch, curette, shave, nail biopsies, and then aspiration, incisional versus excisional, practice management tips, scripts to talk to patients, and then I'm going to give you access to all of my EMR macros, consents, instructions, photo consents. And then I'm going to answer how to answer any questions for patients. This is a lecture that I was asked to give to the residents locally, and I was figuring I can just use this as well for the other docs that are part of Podiatry Practice Mastery. So if you want to register, just click the link in this email, or you can click this link underneath this video. So first here, this is Healthgrades. I don't know if you all use Healthgrades. You can see Healthgrades. There's a couple of websites where there are reviews. I have 140 some reviews on here, and what they have now is they have a direct link to my thing here on Healthgrades, and it talks about would you review, how would you recommend him, review, tell us more about your visit, your display name and email. So it's a direct link that you can put on your website to get more reviews on Healthgrades. Most of my focus is on Google reviews, but if you like Healthgrades, this is another option for you. Jason, I did an interview with him with his lab, Orthotica. Really kind of a neat thing. We were talking about kind of how he got this name, Orthotica, and why in the heck he has this bird right here as his kind of mascot. We talked about some neat things in this interview. The idea of guaranteeing your orthotics. And the way I kind of think about it, and I think you probably are all the same, if your patient is really upset about orthotics and it's not working well, and you've tried to send them back a couple of times, we usually refund them anyway, or I do. And so why not make that into a guarantee and say that, hey, we're going to refund if needed. Free if needed. This was a neat idea he was talking about when he used to be with Dr. Langer, with Langer Orthotics. He even said, well, if your problem is financial need, we do have a financial need program. And no patient wants financial need, but they want to know that you really kind of stand behind them and you think they're beneficial. So that's something kind of is a neat idea. And then some tips about how to develop confidence when you're offering orthotics. And then using this is something that I personally haven't used, and I've recently started to use it for Shockwave. So let me explain this idea. With Shockwave, at that recent course, if you've heard me mention this before, I always say Shockwave, it speeds up your recovery by about 50%, and it's about 80% effective. Okay. Now, I think orthotics are even more effective in terms of being comfortable and not having returns. I would say they're at 90% success rate. So why not, when we're explaining it to patients, say that there is a 90% success rate? And that's something that's going to reduce their restrictions in terms of are they going to work for me and things like that. What's working for me right now is I have this this thing that I say to my patients. It's my 3 patient questions. So as I'm talking about orthotics, I usually say, usually most of my patients, I have 3 questions. How long do they take to make? And I say they're about 4 weeks to make, because they're made specifically for you. How long do they last? They usually last about 5 years. And then how much do they cost? They're $550 for a pair of orthotics. And by saying those 3 questions, I'm kind of preparing for what questions patients have in their mind. So you might have those 3, you might have other 3, but I think it's important to talk about those things. And I kind of do a similar thing for Shockwave now, talking about like kind of going over the questions that patients have. Okay. And then I guess we talk a little bit about to talk or not to talk about price. Okay. And so there's different opinions. I do talk about price. I know some people, they kind of leave it all to the staff about talking about price. I was thinking, and I was talking to Jason a little bit about this. Would you have, those that are listening, any interest in an orthotics masterclass? That's something else I'm doing on Biopsy, and I was thinking that'd be fun to get some other people kind of involved and do a little masterclass together with Jason and some other people that are really good at doing orthotics. If you do have interest, let me know. Don at podiatrypracticemastery.com. Let me know that you do have interest in that, and I'll try to put something together. What specifically? Also, let me know. What you want to learn. Is it learning how to do orthotics? Is it you want to learn how to explain orthotics? Things like that. So the Scribe, so he's getting faster. And this is the reason I'm looking down, by the way, is because my dome light is cutting off the top of this slide. Chan is getting a little bit faster, which has been great. What I do now, so I'm going on week 3, there was a little holiday, but week 3, what I do is I see the patient. I do have to open up the chart just to kind of refresh my memory, what the patient's here for. And then when I finish, I might like do a little bit of a download to Chan. So I'll kind of dictate after either I leave the room or the patient leaves, and I'll say a little bit like what's going on. I try not to do it too fast to not overwhelm him because he's still learning where things are. But I'll say, for example, in the physical exam, where the the problem with the anatomy was, plantar medial heel pain, things like that. He's getting used to my words, and then I'll talk about, okay, that's in the physical exam. In the assessment and plan, put in a biopsy, or put in a ultrasound, or put in X-rays, and this was the read in the X-ray. And then in the discussion section, put in this template or this macro. And then what I'm doing is I used to look at it right away, but what I'm trying to do now is I'm looking at it during break between patients. So I'll go patient to patient, and then when I have a little break, then I'll go and I'll ask him, which ones are you done with? And then what he'll do is he'll tell me the charts he's done with, and I'll go and look at and review those with him, and then I'll correct anything. So there's still little things, but he's getting a little bit faster, which is nice. So it's taking, it took longer than I thought, but if you think about doing medical records, it's not too easy. Okay. The problem with wording selection, I find that sometimes the word, and just the same thing when we were in school, we were using these words that weren't as professional. He would put in the note like so, or the things aren't good for you. I didn't see anything. I tell him that, or I tell the patients I didn't see anything on the X-ray, and so he'll write that in the note. Didn't see anything on the X-ray, or not good for you. So I think wording is using professionalism, but this takes something that he has to kind of learn. I think he did have a lot of Scribe training, they say, but the professionalism is something that we're still working on. So if you want to know what I'm reading and why I read these things, this is What Makes Persuasive Copy Persuasive. So Russell Martino, and this is the book that's in my backpack right now. I'm always kind of have a couple of things going on. I'll kind of explain the way I like to do things. I have a book I read every morning. So I basically have my morning routine, which is the gratitude journal. I read the Bible, and then I have about 10 pages I read in a good book. And I'm reading right now, Your Future Self. So it's a book by Ben Hardy. So I read 10 pages in a book. I've read a lot of different books. These are usually like personal development books. They're not really like business books. They're personal development, kind of working on yourself. So I'll read 10 pages. And so I've been doing that for years. So that's my morning routine. In the morning, then I kind of come to work, and then I have other books that I like to read when I have downtime, and I'm always getting different books. And this is one where it's learning about how do you write copywriting. Why? So I can write the copyright pages, the copy on my pages on my Dr. Pelto site and Podiatry Practice Mastery. and learning the importance of persuasion and things like that. So I think it's kind of like applied psychology. That's why I like these types of books. So it might be one that you like. It was a good book. Specifically, what I've learned from this book is the importance of having a really good sales presentation. What I mean by that is he talks about this guy, he's selling a really high ticket item, which is actually like I think it was like an oil refinery type of thing like that. But the way it worked is they set up meetings with these people and they put in a video cassette, and it was like a perfect presentation, right? And so this is the thought is, can we make a perfect presentation? And in that presentation, including all the objectives, all the questions that they have, all the misconceptions that they have, all the fears that they have, all in one presentation, so that they're motivated to do it. So kind of what I'm thinking about is, well, let's say I take the patient presentation. So if you haven't seen these, go to patientpresentations.com. It'll go to a link tree so you can see all my presentations. Within those, I have a very abbreviated formation of this presentation, right? So it's a presentation that I go over with patients. It only takes me about 3 to 5 minutes, and I'll do that. But it doesn't have the time to go into all the questions that patients have. So what he's recommending, and what I'm trying to figure out how to do, is then on my website, can I have a more in-depth presentation that's going to go over all the objections and concerns that patients have about orthotics, all the questions they have about shockwave, all the questions they have about like the way I treat it, how to choose a podiatrist for your plantar fasciitis, for example, all these things kind of in one presentation, and that they can just hit play. And then so when a patient comes in, I'll do this abbreviated one. Then I send them their homework because I want them to watch this longer one. And that's going to really prepare them for everything else. And kind of why over-the-counter aren't as good as custom orthotics, why all these other questions that we typically get. But if you answer them all in that presentation, it makes it a lot simpler. So that's the main thing I got out of this book is how to make that master presentation. Another thing that I'm listening to, I kind of like this guy. I don't know if you've heard of Dan Kennedy. So I have, there's this thing, it's called, it's on my phone. It's this program. It's like a website that if you subscribe to his newsletter, you get access to this. So that has all of his lectures basically. So he has all of these events, and they save them in video format, and you can go in there and listen to them. UK also has a good podcast. If you're not familiar with this podcast, and now it's run by Russell Brunson, but really good kind of ideas about marketing and things like that. And his idea of magnetic marketing is how we can attract patients. That's the whole idea about using books and things like that. That's where this idea came from. So that's something else. So when do I listen? So I read my 10 minutes in the morning, my 10 pages. I read these other books during kind of the day, if I have time. And then I listen to his stuff when I'm driving to work, either listening to this or listening to audiobooks. So the audiobook that I'm listening to right now is Giftology. And what I find works best is within Amazon for Audible. I have 2 books per month. So that makes me read 2 or listen to 2 books per month. And I always listen to them on 2 times speed, just to make it more efficient. And so I listen to it every time when I'm in the car, either watching one of his videos or not really watching the video, but listening to the audio or this. Okay. So this is the downside of the holiday times here in the clinic. This is one of my downfalls. This is chocolate covered pretzels with dark chocolate and milk chocolate and all these little things. And so if you haven't heard me, my whole thing about fasting, I've been doing this fasting thing, and I talk to it about with my patients, and I've been doing it for years. So I don't eat during the day, but the problem is at the end of the day, starting at about 4 or 5 o'clock, when I'm about ready to go home and we have all this stuff, I'll break my fast and I'll just eat a cup or 2 cups or sometimes 3 cups. And then I go home and my wife wonders why I don't eat as much food. And it's because of this, but this is my downfall this week. So anyway, last thing, kind of the not so good thing is I had a surgery last week. And I don't know if this happens to you guys, but for us, I do it at the hospital still. And I was supposed to go out 1 o'clock and didn't go until about 2:30, and then didn't get out of there till later. And I was thinking to myself again, why the long wait? And that's why I only do it like once a month because of the stress that comes from that. So those are kind of the things that are on my mind this week. If you guys want to join for the that means I'm done. That's my little note section. That means I'm done. Once again, register for the biopsy workshop. There'll be a link underneath here. We're doing that early January, that masterclass, and send me an email. Let me know any of your thoughts, anything else you guys want to learn about. Okay, thanks guys. Have a great one.